Yeah, one for HHM. This is a little bit of a flashback of our president, Nana Addo, an interview he offered with, I think, GBC TV, a few months into his presidency, I think somewhere around March, after appointing 110 ministers. And the things that he said, you know, these are the things that made a lot of people feel that he was going to be radical and he was going to be ruthless to sanitize the political space that is full of canker, indiscipline, and rotten to the core, that people find themselves there and they just want to take the country to the cleaners. Every step of the way, every opportunity that comes their way, they want to abuse it and they want to make money out of the state. So just listen to him, and some of us felt that he had a good picture, he had a good understanding of what needs to be done, being in politics for a very long time and being in government for 8 years, you know, already he had a clear understanding of the canker that goes on around the political corridors of power. So he was gonna step on the gas from day one and clean up the mess. Unfortunately, some of us are disappointed. So just listen to him and then we come back to this.
Ensuring that the public procurement process works like it was originally intended to work. But then there are all the other ancillary measures that I intend to take, that I've begun to take, to make sure that accountability in our political system once again becomes the norm and not the exception. We want a situation where political office holders are the first to recognize that they serve the public interest, not their own personal interests. I've said it time and again. Those of my party and adherents, like-minded people, who think that coming into the public sector is going to be an avenue for making money under Kufuor, are going to be disappointed. To the extent that my eyes and ears can see what is going to happen, I'm not going to allow that to happen. For instance, as we sit today, in the record time, all the first appointments that I made have all declared their assets. All 36 ministers who are the first lot of appointees that I made have all, as of yesterday, declared and filed their assets with the Auditor General. It is part of a process of reassuring the Ghanaian people that the commitments that we made to protect the public purse, the commitments that we made to ensure that we live with a political system that minimizes corruption, which has really ravaged our country and brought us to this low level of economic decline, that there is going to be a systematic attempt to deal with it. You know, of course, the measures that we have put in place for creating a new office of special prosecutor. As always in these matters, I mean, you hear all kinds of...
Sorry. So on the ministerial appointments, you have said that you inherited a debt of 2.4 billion, and then you also inherited...
so 2.4 billion debt overhang in the energy sector.
In the energy sector alone.
The energy sector alone.
So the debt is more than 2.4 billion put together.
122 billion.
That's huge.
It's huge.
I'm looking at, again, you mentioned the fact that you also inherited revenue sources that were leaking. Now, having said all these things, and considering the fact that when and I've seen figures being peddled around, that your ministers are going to consume as much as 20 million Ghana cedis every year. Where are we going to get the money from, considering the fact that the purse is leaking?
I'm not quite sure that those figures are even accurate. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. We have a problem. What is the best way of dealing with the problem? My view is that our country is better served by having on board in the executive men and women who are capable of working to reverse the situation. Because for me, the most important thing that I can do for the Ghanaian people, apart from the institutional issues to do with corruption and how we can plug the hole and leakages, is to grow our economy. If we can grow our economy, the investment involved is something like, assuming that your figure is even right, contested, but assuming, will be a little drop in the ocean. And it will be seen as having been a necessary investment to make. People who are coming into government in my time are coming to work. It is not going to be a holiday. We're not going to approve a situation whereby people are ministers and they think that it's a time for larking and merrymaking and having a good time. On the contrary, I'm in this office at 9 o'clock every day. You ask anybody, and I leave here late at night every day. The behest of much complaining from Lady Rebecca. It's all the time. But that is the reality of my life. And the others, if any of you may care to go around and find out what they're doing, Chamating and Oforiati and the others, that same midnight oil burning and working. We are coming to work for the Ghanaian people. The men and women I've assembled are capable, they're strong, they're competent. We have
Right. So that is what our president said. I think after about a month or so, let's take somewhere around first March, like today, right? What has happened in the last 3 years? Disappointment, disappointment, disappointment. So, what has happened to the Nanado who was saying all these things? Why has he not been able to deliver the rhetorics, the message, the confidence that he expressed these views and these ideals to sanitize the space in the political corridors of power, which is sunk very low, according to him, with corruption. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like nothing has really changed so far as the perception of corruption and the actual corruption happening is concerned around the political corridors of power. We can name them. Kennedy Japon, your own Kennedy Japon, accusing your Flagstaff House appointees of collecting 20,000 before. I mean, that was the inception of your presidency around the mid of 2017, towards the end of the third quarter of 2017, accusing your own appointees of taking $20,000 before they can see you. And no investigation was done. Nobody was found to be doing that. And we just brush it under the carpet. One allegation after the other, brushed under the carpet. According to you, investigations have been done. I've done my investigations and I've found no truth in all these allegations, according to you. So, did you really mean what you're saying, that you're going to deal with corruption? And if anybody is coming to your government, it's for the purpose of public service. I doubt very much, Mr. President. I doubt very much.